Boys World, party on, excellent.
I'm Bethany Williams, host of 3 Days to a Raise.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of 3 Days to a Raise. I'm excited to have Jesse James here with me. He's a personal trainer and the owner of Jesse James Fit Gym over in Flower Mound. And we are going to talk about his story, and I think you're going to learn a lot about his journey. Because I have heard a lot of you that are bouncing around jobs, can't figure out what you want to do in your life, and he's going to talk about how he found his passion. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, I appreciate it.
You're making me feel completely out of shape. Like I thought maybe we should start with that scene where you're lifting me over your head or something. But tell me a little bit about, first of all, tell me where you're from.
Originally from California, Los Angeles area. I moved here about 22 years ago. So been here and been having a blast with business.
Is that where you got interested in fitness in California?
Yeah, no, actually when I moved here, I got introduced to it by a friend of mine, a good buddy of mine, and we worked out and I started picking things up and learning how to manipulate my body through diet and working out, and kind of got addicted to it.
Yeah, my boys love fitness. I flew them out and we went to Muscle Beach. And
oh man!
They went to the original Gold's Gym there.
That's out in Venice. I love that place.
Yep, they absolutely love the outdoor beach, and it definitely has that. Your gym has a cool look to it too.
We get a neat look. It's a pretty good size, 7,200 square feet, and it's just a thumping loud place. I'm big on energy. I'm big on people. When you walk in, we got music blaring in there, and everybody says hi to each other, and a good sense of camaraderie in there and team. So
that is awesome. You're building
key to
a
our
culture.
Success. Yes, we are actually. Yes.
I saw some of the success stories on the internet, and
we have hundreds of cool stories, and we do photo shoots when clients get down to weight. So I constantly change out my before and after pictures for our ads with new fresh stuff, and we just keep things up to date with things.
I like it. I absolutely like it. So I loved when you were talking to me, when we were talking on the phone, you were talking about all the different jobs you've worked. So tell me about some of the things you've done, because I was thinking of my 20-year-old when you were telling this story.
You'd have to be here all day long. I've done a little bit of everything, and I'll make it quick because you don't have a 2-day show here on the jobs I've had. I mean, I've sold cologne. I was a busboy. I worked at Kmart. I did dishes, I sold cars. I did everything trying to find out what I was meant to do. And it's really weird because during all these jobs, no matter what I did, whether I was washing dishes, and that was at Owen's restaurant when I first moved here, I did the best I could do. I made sure everything I did was 100%, and I was just real intense and fast, and I timed myself on stuff. So no matter what I did, no matter how mediocre the job might have been, I wanted to make sure I kicked ass doing it. So when I fell into fitness and personal training, I still didn't know that was going to be my job that I was going to fall in love with and make a career out of. It was just part-time money and nothing too exciting. It wasn't until later on in life, and I saved some money and went in with a buddy of mine and bought my first gym with him, that I kind of found that was my key to success and maybe something that I was actually good at. Once that started to kind of formulate and my client load built up and the success started coming out of that place, I started putting things together and keeping track of my numbers, and then kind of fell in love with the business side of it and also the results, the result aspect of it.
Yep. And the results started to follow.
Yeah, it did. And like I said, I think all the little jobs that I had, especially selling cars, I really picked up a lot on how to work with people and how to talk to people and how to read people, and that helped me with clients. I was able to read when people were going to, lie to me on their. If I ask them about the nutrition, if they tend to hesitate, I know they're about to lie to me. So I can catch a lot of things that they would normally get away with.
We do not want to tell a fit person that we're eating badly, we're not exercising.
The measurements of scale don't lie. So that's when I really started to fall in love with this. And when I had my first lady just break down and start crying and give me a big hug, and she lost about 40-something pounds, 45 pounds I think it was, and just felt like $1 million. She felt sexy and beautiful again. And all those things, and knowing that I was a part of that journey was just a real eye-opener for me. Especially I was really hardcore into bodybuilding and tattoos, loud music, rock and roll and rap, and I had this woman break down, and right there, my heart just melted, and I found out that's kind of the direction I wanted to go into. I've done a lot of contest prep for our athletes, bodybuilders, but the satisfaction I get from working with a lot of our clients, men and women, and then kind of helping them find some of the things they may have lost in life.
Lost, yep, absolutely.
Made me just go, all right, this is the direction that I'm going to go into. I love this. The payback is just so much more greater than what I was getting before, and not even counting the money. That was just the way I felt in my heart, my soul. So that's when I changed the direction of my business model and stopped going with performance and bodybuilding and really went towards kind of lifestyle changing.
You overcame a big obstacle.
Oh man, 2 obstacles. Yeah. One, I thought it was stupid. I have a learning disability, retention deficit disorder. I have a hard time reading, and God, I think up until about 9th grade, my mom helped me with my homework, and when she got a little busy with work and everything, and some of my homework was getting a little bit harder than she was able to help me with, my grades started going downhill. I got nothing but D's and F's through I guess 10th and 11th grade, and that just made life really tough for me. My friends are graduating, I ended up just dropping out. So between that and getting a little bit of trouble back home in LA, I moved here to Texas. I had some family here. My dad was here for a short amount of time. So I came out here and luckily got my GED with the help of...
you got sent to Dad's? Is that what you...
Yeah. I got a chance to come see him for a while.
You make it sound... You were in trouble and you got sent to Texas.
Texas. There wasn't much here back then either, so it was kind of the country from Los Angeles.
LA,
yeah, from LA. So it was a bit of a culture shock for me. So I got out here, I got my GED, and I found out that I had some reading issues. But I also have a malformed of Tourette's and a nervous tic that I had that was real aggressive. And when I got nervous and had issues reading, my little tic, when the noise I make would kick in, and that was a nightmare for me to deal with all through high school, middle school. So it was a bit tough overcoming things, but finally did.
Yeah, that's great.
I figured out that I can whine and complain about some of the things that I didn't have.
I think the people that I coach, what I find a lot of times is what they get stuck on is whatever issue they're facing, they feel like it's worse than anybody else's.
Oh, yeah.
And for whatever reason, whatever they're facing means they can't succeed and they can't go after their job and they can't get it done. And it seems bigger than what anyone else is facing.
Well, and that's so true. I was, my father kind of left when I was younger, and I had a relationship with him on and off, but my mom raised me. So I had, like most kids at that age, I had anger issues, resentment, and then on top of that, I thought I was stupid because I couldn't read. So I had a ton of stuff that was kind of holding me back, and a lot of anger that I had to deal with. So I had to kind of learn to grasp hold of that, and I think when it was maybe 2 years after I moved here, I did some audio tapes and then picked up a book by Tony Robbins, and it was Awaken the Giant Within. And that was the first book that I completed by myself, and it took me about 11 months, a little under a year. And that book from then on out kind of turned my life around and made me understand that I was responsible for my choices from here on out. And I couldn't really whine and complain about where I came from and what I didn't have, but I needed to really step things up and be aggressive with the things that I did want. So that kind of changed my life from there on how I looked at things. So.
Your gym, you said you focus on lifestyle changes. So give me some examples of some lifestyle changes that you focus your audience on.
There's a couple things, but most people, whether it's financial, family, weight loss, get out of sync when they have no organization, they have no regimen. So first thing I ask people to do is get a calendar, whether it's the old-fashioned big calendar on the top of your desk or Outlook. You have to schedule yourself and all your duties and tasks for the day, whether it's picking the kids up at school at 7 o'clock, that means you go to the gym at 6:15, 5:15. You have to know what you're to do every single day, or else you're just pulling stuff out of the air and hoping for the best.
I know a lot of people that do that. They keep thinking, I'm going to get to it, and then they just procrastinate.
But I didn't have time. Nobody has time. Well, you do have time. You had time to eat bad and get out of shape, so you have time to get organized.
I had time to watch television for way too much.
We all do. So that's one of the first things we ask people to do is, schedule things out, live and breathe off your calendar, and make sure you lock yourself down to those things. Don't just kind of randomly pick and choose when you want to go to work out, do cardio, hit a class. Second thing, I really push people to have a little bit of balance. So I ask clients to, look at life with 3 different aspects. You got your financial and business, you got your family, and you got your personal goals. Any weak points in any of those circles is going to kind of create a negative ripple effect in the whole sequence.
In the other areas,
You have to have those things narrowed down and fixed. And if you can look at each one in segments and fine tune where your weaknesses are, it helps you tie everything together really nicely, and you can actually get your results. If you have issues with your family, that's going to tie into your personal goals. If you have issues financially, that's going to tie into both usually. So you have to really know where your issues are that are underlying and kind of causing your drama in your life. When you get that handled, you can almost accomplish anything, whether it, again, be financial goals, family goals, or weight loss goals. So those are some of the key things I really push people to focus on.
And do you think the focus on the lifestyle changes, is that one of the components that you think has made your gym so successful?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've been doing that for years, and when I started employing lifestyle changes in there, we tend to have longer term clients. They don't just come in, lose 30 pounds, and then leave. They stay with us. It's a nice family in there. All my trainers are pushed to talk to each other's clients. Most gyms aren't like that. They're very, hey, that's my client, why are you talking to them?
Right.
Not in my place. I want clients to talk to each other. I want my trainers talking to other clients, because you might have been with me 3 or 4 years, but one of my trainers comes up and talks to you and you ask him a question, and what he says at that moment in time might resonate in your head, and you might go, oh my God, so I do have to cut my carbs out at night and do more cardio. Well, they just helped me, and I'm happy with that, because at the end of the day, it's about our success with clients,
right,
not ego. And that's one of the main keys to my studio success, is the fact that we keep all the ego out at the door, and it's mainly a team effort in the studio with the way my trainers operate in there, but also with their clients and their energy.
So you think your gym has more men working out, or more women, or a good balance?
No, we're probably 85%, 80 to 85% women, and then the rest are men. We have a lot of families.
The men don't need to work out, or?
No, we have a good amount of guys, but for some reason I started off with bodybuilding and all these hardcore guys and athletes, and now we have a ton of women in my studio, which I love. I mean, I love being a part of their growth. And about 3 years ago, we added a component in there where we don't charge extra for their spouse. I wanted to start getting the husbands in there. So when we started doing that, business just skyrocketed.
That's a great idea.
Well, our growth, just kind of kept jumping up.
I get so many emails from people that are struggling on what should I do? How do I find my passion? I don't like any of my jobs. I'm unhappy. And they're in that very frustration mode where they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about, didn't you have points where you felt like, am I ever going to figure this out?
Oh my God, yes. I think it was about 10 years ago. Within about an 11-month span, I lost my car, my home, and my business. And I had to start over again. Lived on and off my car, my grandma's house, hotel here and there, shower at the gym. I had a real rough span of my life for a while. Since then, I picked things up and started over, but what I found that I had to do was I had to realize that I had my passion. I had my passion for people and fitness. What I was lacking was the discipline to follow through with the things that it took to make it successful. I was great with people, great with training my clients, but my business sense wasn't the best. I wasn't watching my numbers, and it wasn't as accurate as I should have been on a lot of the stuff. And that's what changed. That's what changed my whole business. I got rid of the gym business that I was in before, and I opened up just a personal training studio. I analyzed my strengths and my weaknesses. My weakness was I didn't have money to have a big gym. I didn't have that kind of cash flow. But what I could control was the quality of my personal training and the personal trainers that I had, and those clients that I still maintained and retained after I closed down. I borrowed money from family and friends, put a new down payment, and started up a new studio. And God, I think it's been, I would say about 8 years later now.
Wow.
We have one of the largest studios in Texas. We've had 31% increases for the last 3 years, and we're now...
High five.
Yeah. We hit an all-time high. We hit $1.2 million last year.
Wow.
And for a personal
so
training
awesome.
studio, companies don't do that.
That's so
So, and I have big expectations this year. But what it took was passion and then discipline, both of which I have tattooed on my arms. Those are things that have to, remind me to strive hard for all the things that I want, but have the discipline to follow through with the actions that it takes. That's what changed my life. That's what made my business what it is when almost 8 to 10 years ago I didn't have anything. So I had to start over again.
Well, and I think it'll be so inspiring to the people that are watching, because I get emails all the time from people that are in that spot and cannot see their way out. And I think hearing stories about people who have done it and understanding what it takes is inspiring. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you are able to watch people's lives change.
Yeah, we're part of it. I see it through my trainers. I still train about, I would say 60, 65 clients, but I have my trainers there and I watch and see all that. I'm a very integral part of their success. I'm in the studio all day long, so I watch the progression of all the people there. So it's kind of neat to see the trainers that have started with me doing all the great things that I've done and seeing their happiness and their growth.
Seeing their success.
Yeah. So that's been a, I don't know, pretty exciting to have that happen in my life.
So if you were to reach out into the audience and give them some advice on maybe someone's in that spot where you were, they're sleeping in their car, they think all hope is lost, what advice would you give them?
Have a plan, know what you're gonna do, chart things out, look at your weaknesses, look at your strengths. That's what I had to do finally. Before I was just kind of like riding straight forward and had no direction. I had no GPS. I was kind of hoping that I would just eventually get there, but I didn't know where there was. I had to have a goal. I forecasted my numbers on my spreadsheet, and I think it started in 2006. I got really aggressive with that, and I started really watching my numbers, and whenever I did fall off that, I would plummet. So I think right around 2009, I got aggressive again and started really, again, forecasting and wanting to see my goals. If I made X amount of money this month, then I know if I had this many clients, I would have this much money coming in. Right. And I just got a little bit smarter, and I grew, and I studied, that aspect of my business, and I watched it grow exponentially over the last, 3 to actually almost 5 years now. It's grown crazy.
The businesses I work with, I always tell them, you get what you measure. Mm-hmm. And so if you are measuring something, you are going to be more apt to get it. It's almost like focus. When you focus on a goal and you're measuring it, you're going to put attention to that. Where your focus is, that's where your attention goes, and where you measure it, then your performance goes there.
That's
and
exactly
it kind of follows.
That's what helped me with my business, was just, again, finding my weaknesses, putting energy into that, and striving hard in that direction. And it all kind of took off from there.
So tell me something you like to do for fun.
I really just love hanging out in my backyard now with Tiffany. We have family over, and we do that a lot. We love mountain biking.
Are you a griller?
I do like to grill. She's incredible on it as well, but we do
What
like
is
to grill.
it? Why do all guys like to grill? I do not understand.
I don't mind sharing the task, because she's great too. But we love having our friends and family over. That's my passion there. And we have a lot of Jeeps at my studio. I have a big jacked up Jeep, and we have probably about 17 to 20 Jeeps at my studio with trainers and clients. And I don't know where this came from, but we started this huge trend in Flower Mound with Jeeps. So we actually like driving the Jeep on the weekends. That's our biggest thing. We get out and we go all over Dallas, and we just, kind of search for different places, different destinations, go to lunch at different places. And that's kind of my Harley. With a roll cage and cup holder. So
it's a little bit safer than your normal
a little safer, and I can go mudding and off-roading and things. So a little dirtier.
My son got his car all muddy because he drove into a mud pit last weekend, and it was kind of funny because he said certain car washes won't let you take your car there when you're covered in mud. So we had to try to figure out. Yeah, we had to spray it off ourselves because he drove in the ditch, and that's another story. But well, Jesse, that has been so inspiring. I loved it. Thank you for spending the time to come on the show.
Pleasure having me. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks for joining me right here on the set of 3 Days to a Raise, and see you next week.